lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
Woo! Time
What's
to start
up?
the show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 114 of Podcast Beyond.
Is it 100? Wait, is it 115 or 114?
114.
Woo.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot of them. I'm the host, Chris Roper. Greg Miller, what's happening?
Nothing.
Ryan Clements, what's going on?
Yo. What's up?
Colin Moriarty, what to do, nephew?
Very nice.
Always
Yes.
mixing it up.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, I'm here.
Trying to mix it up. Let's get the show started with the Roper Report. Notice I got it printed today. It's not even handwritten.
Wow.
So now we're all digital.
Yeah. No, it's.
So now it should be.
I did the news even
Come on,
before I came
Woods.
into work this morning.
That's why.
What? I did. My daughter was eating breakfast. I was like, "Ooh, I got nothing to do." Let me
That
just
doesn't
do the
sound
news.
like Chris Roper
I did
now.
it. It's because I was getting ready because I knew that God of War
Were
was
you
going
in
to show up
like
today.
a shirt and tie? You're
No.
there?
No.
Like a briefcase reading the Wall Street Journal?
T-shirt and socks.
Okay.
No pants. All right, let's get it started. So first off, we're going to come back to music games later in the show. It's going to be our topic of the week, but and maybe we'll touch on this again. But you might remember a couple months ago, I guess, Courtney Love was having a tiff with Activision about Kurt Cobain's appearance in Guitar Hero 5. She didn't like the way that Kurt, basically could be, he was singing stupid songs and all this other kind of crap. The same sort of lawsuit is now happening with No Doubt suing Activision, saying that they were turned into just karaoke characters and they're playing all these other things. And basically, No Doubt assumed that they would only play their own music, which is not the case in any of these games. To me, it seems like some of these people don't bother to play the games at all.
yeah,
Don't
they
look
don't.
at them, and then when they come out, they're like, "Wait a minute, what no." I mean, if they, I think. A good example of this was with Guitar Hero 4 with World Tour. Tool was in the game, but they weren't actually in there. It was, themed venues, and I think that they kind of realized that they didn't want to be made fools of by playing, some other stupid music. So they just made venues,
Right.
which I thought worked pretty well. But apparently nobody else pays attention to that sort of thing.
Taylor Swift paid attention. She's not complaining.
Well, there you
She's
go.
fine with being a band hero.
Yeah. Very cool news for people that have not played Braid, which is an awesome game. It's coming to the PlayStation Network finally
Whoa.
sometime this month. It seems like on
A couple weeks, I thought, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks. So that's very good news. If you have not played that game,
Still haven't
do
played
so.
that game.
It is awesome.
Very
I'm excited to play it.
I'm very excited to play that too.
Try to get the 8 stars. I'm not going to do that again unless there's trophies, and then we'll see what happens.
There are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
I looked at the list
No,
already.
for the stars. There's trophies for the stars.
Well, actually, I looked at the achievement list, and I assume they're going to be the same. All bronzes and then maybe a couple
Okay, but
silvers.
there weren't any achievements for the stars though.
Yeah, I
Maybe
saw
they'll
something
get
with
this
like completion of the world and then completing some picture.
Do you
Yeah.
get a better ending if you get all the stars, though?
You get more. It explains more.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
But I mean, you can easily. There's no video or anything, so you can easily read it online. Anyway, Magic the Gathering is coming. Magic the Gathering Tactics is coming to PlayStation Network sometime in 2010. Sony is working with Wizards of the Coast to do that one. Sounds pretty cool. Last Friday, this is kind of a couple-part news thing here, but the God of War 3 Collector's Edition was announced, which sounds pretty awesome. It's $100, right? But but it comes in the thing that holds it is a replica of Pandora's box, which I think is pretty rad. It comes with the Dominus costume. Various pre-order places you get different costumes. Like Amazon gives you something different at GameSpot or whatever. With the collector's edition, you get Dominus in there. It comes with an exclusive combat arena with 7 challenges. I'm hoping that's in addition to an arena that will also come in the game, but we'll see what that's like. You get a selection of music from the trilogy, which, it's great music. You get the director's cut of God of War Unearthing a Legend, which goes through the making of, I don't know if it's just the game or if it's the entire trilogy, but what I think is cool about this is that it's the director's cut as opposed to you only get it. So even the regular disc will have the thing on it, which is really nice. And then you get an art book. So
Wow.
It's
a lot of stuff.
lot of stuff for $100. I'll buy it. Now,
Of course you will.
yeah. Now, if you go and you purchase, and this was as of last Friday, if you go and you pre-order God of War 3 in any form, you will get a code for the God of War 3 E3 demo, which you can download now on the PlayStation Network. So, GameStop is $5, I think, still today to, reserve a game. Go do that. You get the demo. It's like 15 minutes long. I've played through it a bunch of times, and I do it in about 15 minutes, even though I don't know what I'm doing. So it's pretty long, and it's good fun stuff. Apparently in Japan, people are reporting that the PSP Go had poor sales on day one. Now, here's the interesting thing about this: is on day one it sold 28,725 units, give or take, right? In comparison, the DSi sold 170,000 units in the first 2 days. So you're talking 85,000, average over those each day. Now, obviously, the DSi is selling a lot more than that. But if you compare it to previous PSP sales, the PSP 3000 over the numbers that I have here is over 4 days. It sold 140,000. So you're talking, give her a little over 30,000 a day, and the PSP Go sold 28,000 and change. That doesn't seem that bad to me.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes in the long run. If people already have the PSP, maybe they're like, I don't want to buy it again or whatever right now. Maybe I'll wait till later. That's one thing. But I don't know. It obviously didn't do as well as the DSi, but it seems like it did okay. So
people over there are just playing Monster Hunter anyway.
I think it's what it is.
And not to mention, it was Monster Hunter on the store, the Japan store on launch day. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in Japan.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take off their charms off their other PSP.
Yeah. Colin, you and I got emails this morning.
Yeah.
Or you and my wife did, I suppose.
Yeah.
And as did a bunch of other people that I saw on the forums, where the Netflix discs for streaming on-demand Netflix movies will be arriving in our mailboxes tomorrow.
Very exciting.
That's pretty good. Now, the one thing that I think is kind of disconcerting about the email is it basically just said, hey, it's going to show up tomorrow. And then it says, go on to the Netflix site and add things to your queue so that you're ready to watch them when it shows up. So now, if you remember when, if you have an Xbox 360 and a Netflix account, when Netflix hit the 360, originally you could only watch stuff that was in your queue, and you had to go to your computer and put it in there, which is what it sounds like it's going to happen on the PS3. Netflix on the 360 did get updated, however, later on to where you can browse anything that's on there and watch it on the fly. Which
that took a while, though.
It did take a while, but you figure they've already done it once. Now, the question mark here, though, is since it's using BD Live basically to stream your movies, would that functionality have been too impossible to put in? Seems like they could have done it. I'm hoping that when it becomes a software solution next year, that it'll, you better actually do it.
Yeah, they'll fix
correct.
it.
And it's maybe why the software part's delayed, and they're,
Yeah, it could be. I think it's cool though. The email did say that because I was afraid that we were going to get the disc and then we'd have to wait until November 15 or something like that to use it. But it says that you'll be ready to go right away, so you can stream. If you were smart enough to go on there, let's follow our advice and get it immediately. When they announced it, then you'll get it tomorrow, and you can stream all weekend.
If you have not signed up for it, the address to do it is netflix.com/PS3. Very easy to remember. Go there, put in your email address. You don't have to. You just say I want it, and it shows up in your thing.
I'm stoked, dude. I'm
Ryan,
really excited.
what's your thing?
How much is Netflix again?
You can. I think according to the page, it's $8.95 starting
a month.
A month, yeah.
But it increases as you go.
You can have more movies at a time in that. Yeah.
Right.
I have 3 at a time, unlimited plus unlimited streaming for $18.99 a month, which is an awesome deal.
Yeah.
And but I think you can actually get I think it's $5 to get one disc 3 times a month, and then $8.99 for one disc at a time plus streaming.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And it goes up to 8 discs at a time.
Which you'd be kind of crazy to need that because Netflix turns stuff around pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's for families and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway,
families.
the
what
last
if you just wanted streaming? Is the question.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, I think you can still get one at a time. You might be able to just not get any discs and then just pay the $8.99 a month.
You just do what I do and not use your discs. They just sit on my bookshelf. I've had Breaking Bad season 3 and Californication season 2 disc 1 forever.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Somebody wants those.
Too bad they're never gonna get them.
Yep. So what you should do is get the best movie out there, and nobody will ever get it. Or find a cult classic that there's probably only have one of, and then just keep it. Piss everybody else off. The last piece of news that I'll mention this week is that Battlefield Bad Company 2, the beta for it is coming to the PlayStation Network on November 19th.
Exclusively
to the PlayStation Network.
Bam!
Now, here's how this is working. So, we're going to have more news soon about how you'll be able to actually get in there. Right now, the official word is just go to I think it's just battlefield.com. But we'll have more news on how you can get into the beta soon. But the beta will start November 19th on PSN. In December, for people that have PCs and want to play shooters on there, there's going to be an open beta, so anybody can play it on the PC in December. And then at some point next year, there'll be a proper demo on all 3 platforms, 360, PS3, and PC. But, for the first month or so, give or take, the beta is exclusive to PS3, which is pretty cool. It's big news. Because we gave away beta keys to the 360 beta for Battlefield Bad Company 1, and that did huge numbers. People were super crazy about it. So, that's actually pretty big news for the PlayStation Network. So, good news there all around.
Excellent.
That's all the news I got. Anybody else have anything else they want to add there?
Go Sony.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Flipping scripts.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Anyway, there we go. Let's see. Moving on with the show. Greg, what stuff's coming to stores this week?
I have the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. All right. PS3 gets Star Wars: The Force Unleashed Ultimate Sith Edition.
Sith.
Rock Band Lego. What did I say?
You said Sith.
I know. I just
you.
want to make sure that people know you said Sith
What do you
and
think I
not
said?
something else.
I did not. It didn't sound at all like
No,
I know.
it sounded fine.
I know.
Shit.
It didn't sound anything
Shit.
like asterisk,
Shit.
pound sign, money sign,
I was just
exclamation
making a
point.
joke because that's what.
right.
Because someone referred to it as that in a meeting recently.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
And one of our people?
Yeah,
That
I
seems
think so.
biased.
Move
Money
on.
hats. They're all Star Trek money hats. So yeah, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Rock Band Lego, Band Hero, Dragon Age Origins,
Rock Band
and then
Lego.
my personal pick of the week, Jurassic the Hunted. The box art looks just amazing, and I cannot wait to play this game. PSP gets Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier, Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, and then PS2 gets Jack and Daxter, Band Hero, and Jurassic the Hunted. I would still stick with Jurassic the Hunted. PS3 though for trophies if you can.
yeah. I don't know. I think
We don't have a copy in the office, do we?
I don't believe so. We have to run out and get it. So, Ryan, what do we got?
We got a decent week on the PlayStation Network. Woo! We got Military Madness Nectaris, which is a classic grid-based strategy game. Numb Blast.
Ooh.
Don't know about that.
Sounds like something good to play when you're going to the dentist.
That's pretty funny. Next episode of Core is out. A demo for Trine is going to be available. A Brutal Legend map pack, which I believe is exclusive to the PS3 for a fair amount of time, which
High
is
five,
pretty
Colin.
cool. High five there.
Exclusivity.
There's some Dragon Age DLC, and then PSP. Ton of PSP games, according to the PlayStation blog folks that I got this info from. There's Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron is also on the PlayStation Network, as well as Ghostbusters the game.
Hey.
Ooh.
Those are both PSP games. And sorry. No.
Don't go crazy about that one yet. I don't know. I haven't put it in yet. I got the UMD version the other day.
Okay.
Been busy.
Wait,
Lots of stuff, Colin.
should I finish this before you interrupt?
Yeah, I was interrupting.
I know. No,
Whatever,
it was helpful.
bro.
I was just kidding.
We're approaching a crossroads. Clements and I can't exist in this show anymore together. It's ruining our friendship.
We have to choose. There's some Tekken 6 wallpaper, meh. And my disappointment, there's no DJ Hero track packs coming this week. I believe they were announced for later on this month.
No
though.
minis?
So there should no minis were mentioned.
Well, the minis thing is, remember last week we didn't get word that stuff was coming out from Sony
Oh, yeah,
so
they
much,
sent
but then we
press
got press releases, so who the hell knows what
What'd you end up giving Zombie Tycoon?
Uh-oh.
No, I don't mean to put you on the spot, sorry.
Yeah, I
You
just
can
don't
ballpark
remember.
it.
Was
Okay.
it good or not?
It not particularly. I think I
Okay.
gave it in the 5, so like it's
Okay.
not a particularly
Okay,
awesome game,
okay.
but
Yeah.
it was okay. Yeah.
All right.
I did the other week give Empire a 7 some odd.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's funny because a lot of kids, if they saw the score in the 5s, they would say immediate no. But I have a feeling that I'm sure there are some people out there that would like that game. It's just it's
Right.
not the best it
Not
could
your
be.
cup of tea.
Right.
There we go. Pick of the week. What do we got here?
Pick of the week.
Let me see the
I think
list again.
it's an easy one.
Yeah?
No joke. It's got to be Dragon Age Origins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jeff
yeah,
loved that.
looks
It's a BioWare RPG. It looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm looking
that's
forward to playing
pretty
it.
clear. Dragon Age Origins. Pick
When
of
I
the
have
week.
100 hours to not do that.
Now,
Oh wait, no, that's hit of the week.
No. All right. Well, pick of the week.
Pick of the week
Let's go through
confirmed.
these real fast and talk about the games we have played here. Ultimate Sith Edition. I reviewed that. It's the same game as before. They didn't update
Just more
the actual.
content.
Yeah, it's more
It's cheaper,
content.
right? Isn't it? I thought for $40
So
on
it-
PS3.
Yeah,
That's what
is it
GameStop
40?
had the
Yeah, so
PS3
it's $40
version.
bucks.
That's a
If
good deal.
you would have ordered, I don't know if you'd ordered. I don't know if they changed the price of the old one, but if you had ordered the original Force Unleashed last week, it was still $40 from them. So you get 3 extra levels. Basically you get all the DLC already included in there.
Yeah, yeah.
If you haven't played the game yet, get it. If you have the game if you have the original one, just buy the DLC if you want it. The only thing you're missing is Hoth, which may come as DLC later, but
And
Hoth is not that great anyway.
Did the first one have trophy patch?
No.
No, it did not.
This is how you get trophies.
Yeah, so you have to. This is the way.
I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do it too.
Is there any discrepancies in the
Let's go right
multi-platform
now.
version of that?
I'm
Does
at
the
it.
PS3 version run well, or is it a little rickety in
no,
comparison
it's
to
fine.
360?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everything's fine about it. Rock Band Lego Rock Band.
Yeah, Jack didn't like that.
Nah, he didn't like it so much. Band Hero.
I gave it a 7.9. I mean, if you like...
But you
if
did
like
not
the
do well on the
goofy-
PS2.
Oh, do not do the PS2. No. Yeah, PS2 got a 5, flat 5. Yeah, don't play PS2 version.
Jeff loved Dragon Age again. He gave it an 8.7.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but he thinks it's good stuff.
Working on that
Jurassic
guide
the
right
Hunter
now.
would sure be a classic, which we
I
have not
can't-
played
That's
yet.
gonna be a
wait.
killer guide, man.
Greg, your review of Jack and Daxter is going up later today.
Yeah, by the time this podcast is heard by people outside, it should be live.
You think it's in the 7th somewhere?
Yeah, it seems like it will be. I don't think it'll crack good. I mean, and it's one of those things where it's got, like, I was a big fan of the original series trilogy, And it reminds me a lot of the original Jak in terms of having more of a platforming focus.
Right, which is great.
No dark Jak, none of that to worry about. But the camera on a PSP is really hard to do for a platformer, and they don't pull it off here, and that's
Right.
the main stumbling block for them.
Yeah. I think it's most of the list. Elite Squadron, Jeff is playing currently.
Okay.
So who knows what the hell he thinks about that. Anyway, there you go, the list of the week.
I was never very taken with that game, by the way, when I played at preview events.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to add in here, because I know it's a big game for a lot of people, is for this morning, just then, as I alluded to earlier today,
Oh my.
the God of War collection showed up in the office. So the game comes out November 17th. We'll have stuff on it before then.
I can't believe it's November already, by the way.
I know, it's kinda
You
crazy.
keep saying November, and I'm like, oh, that's a wait. Oh, no, wait, we're in November.
Yeah. But just as a real
Killer.
quick, 1 or 2 minute audio preview for the game. So I put it in, I played through the Hydra sequence, basically the entire, opening to God of War 1, and then I played through the first part of the Colossus in God of War 2 and got up to the pool where you go in the fountains, and then there's the sex scene in there.
Yeah, there
And
is.
Well, it gives you lots of orbs, so it's worth doing. Anyway,
Another high five, Colin.
but
Sex.
when that scene started, it completely froze on me. Hopefully that was just like an aside thing, and I'm playing on a burn disc as opposed to the retail disc. But hopefully that is just a fluke. But anyway, I will say that God of War 1 looks nice in HD, but it just looks like it's HD or whatever. But it looks good, but it's showing its age. 2 looks awesome. It looks really, really, really good. I am kind of astonished at how good it looks on the PS3. Now, granted, I haven't played 2 in a long time, but just even aside from the fact that it's in HD, like the lighting is just fantastic on it. You get nice over bright stuff. You get, the models all look great. I am kind of blown away by how good it looks. It doesn't look as good as God of War 3.
Yeah.
But it looks really nice. What's cool is the stuff for we wrote about this before, but the stuff the bonus content for God of War 1 is basically inside of the game, so you can watch it there. And the stuff for God of War 2 is broken out, so it shows up under the video section of the thing. The video quality on both of those is not good.
Oh, really?
They did not age well, but they didn't look good to begin with. But they didn't take the original stuff and bring it over to HD or whatever it is, or even redo it in progressive scan or whatever. And video reminds me that when you play both of the games, but more so in part 1, it is very obvious now when it goes between video and real-time gameplay.
Yeah.
Like before, it was hidden pretty well when you're playing on the PS2. It is not anymore. You can clearly tell when that happens. But and then my only gripe so far that unless I was missing something, because again I didn't play it for very long, is that once you start a game, you can't quit back out to the main menu. I don't know how often you would play 1 and then be like, I want to go to 2 right now.
After this noise.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't quit God of War 1 and then go back to the main menu and then pick to start God. It's like you go into it and then you're stuck there and you have to hit
quit all the way out to the across the menu bar.
But so far good stuff. It's nothing has changed aside from the fact that it all looks better. But anyway, there you go. Now you know no have to battle. G.I. Joe. Moving on with the show, trophy tips. Just a tip.
Band Hero is an excellent trophy farm there for you. I think once a guide gets up from one of the many sites out there that'll do it, there like lots of the trophies are secret notes, which are you have to go to a certain song and hit all these special little notes. It's a nice little thing, and you could find them all on your own if you really wanted to, but you might as well wait for somebody else to do it. There's a gold there for completing the career on any difficulty. Most of these trophies don't matter what difficulty you play on. So like getting 100% on vocalist you can do on easy, not beginner, and then same thing for like hitting perfect on a bass or whatever, yada yada yada. And then finishing a career shouldn't take you any more than a couple hours. So
cool.
Right there's a gold for you, Colin.
Thanks. Yeah.
There you are. I will say that. Actually, I guess I can't talk about that game. But anyway.
Oh no!
Anyway,
were they Infamous 2 tips?
No. Okay. And it's nothing crazy.
That was not a real.
Anywho,
not real.
Yeah, we don't know about Infamous 2 yet.
It'll be real.
So anyway, any more trophy tips anyone else mention? No.
Yeah, actually, I'm playing Dragon Age 2, and it seems that if you
Dragon Age 1, you mean also? You're also playing Dragon Age 1.
I'm playing Dragon Age also.
Yeah, you said I'm
also
playing
playing
Dragon Age 2.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
See, 2 is a numeral as well as a word.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry.
Since readers can't
that was
read
confusing.
and they can only listen,
it seems that if you can probably get a platinum in that if you were going to play through the game and do everything completely and also play through all 6 origin stories, spend maybe an hour with each character or whatever, you can probably get a platinum in that. I haven't
what do you think?
gotten too far in the game yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just messing around. I'm really daunted by the guide.
Oh, you're doing
It's
it,
that
guys.
time of year for me because it's like 2007 Mass Effect made me want to kill myself around this time of year, and then Fallout last year made me want to kill myself, and now it's November, so
It's
obviously.
always
But
something
you know,
for you. It's always-
but your Suicide Watch is thrown off because Mass Effect 2 is first quarter next year.
Right, so, yeah.
you're gonna have Dragon Age making you want to kill yourself, and then again.
Yeah, I'll probably jump right into. I like to do. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the Heavy Rain guide or anything like that because I'm gonna be busy with Mass Effect 2, which I'm very excited about. It's probably my most anticipated game actually.
Mass Effect 2 or Heavy Rain?
Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
So yeah, and also I just want to tell everyone I got my 7th platinum trophy yesterday. I'm very very happy about that. Thank you.
It was Uncharted
Thank
2?
you. Uncharted 2.
How was it?
I will tell. That's a good trophy tip actually. Is anyone who played Drake's Fortune and is daunted by the difficulty of crushing on Drake's Fortune? Much easier and among
really?
these. Much
Good.
easier. So you can definitely achieve a platinum trophy.
Looking forward
It
to that.
amazes me, your dedication to those trophies, man.
It amazes me too.
Yeah.
Actually, me and my girlfriend moved into a new place, a studio apartment.
I didn't know that.
And
Oh, whoa, did you move?
well, we moved. It's actually in the same place. It's just downstairs and isolated, so we don't have to hear everyone all the time. I've been dominating our television with just playing games like all
Right.
day. I come home from work, I play games for 8 hours a day at work, and then I go home and I play games. And so Clayman gave me one of his TVs. So
Oh,
like his
he
old
told me
TV. So now
about
I
that.
have a TV that I play games on, and then right next to it is another TV that we watch TV on. So it's really
Right.
pretty sweet. So I actually earned the Uncharted 2 platinum while watching the World Series yesterday. It's very
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there
good.
we go. Let's get on to topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
So, as I mentioned before, I mentioned we're going to talk about music
toe,
games here.
toe.
Now, this week saw the release of Lego Rock Band,
Yeah.
and which, by the way, let me say this again. Also, you reviewed Lego Rock Band on, Band Hero on the DS, which
Yes, I
is
did.
not the same game as, or is it Lego Rock Band? Which one of them was it?
I reviewed Band Hero on the DS, and
Okay.
I played Lego Rock Band on the DS
And
just
which
to give
one?
Craig
Which one
some
was the
impressions.
one that was like Rock Band Unplugged?
That was Lego Rock Band. And
There you
that's,
go.
if you have a DS and you want more Rock Band Unplugged, you should get that because it was good.
Okay. Anyway, so we saw Lego Rock Band plus Band Hero.
Uh-huh. This is a week after DJ Hero.
Week after DJ Hero, Guitar Hero Van Halen. If you have if you had ordered that, that's
Yeah.
showing up to people now.
This is a month after Guitar Hero 5.
A month after Guitar Hero 5 and the Beatles Rock
Oh,
Band.
jeez, yeah, I forgot about the Beatles.
And yeah, so there's lots of music games just in this past month, really. Actually, no, it's been almost 2 months because those games were September 9th. But anyway, still.
Oh, right.
Still, in the past 2 months, there's been 5 games, something like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sure.
and then if you go back to the beginning of this year, you had there was Guitar Hero, Metallica, and yeah, I forget. And then
SingStars are in there.
SingStars are all. Anyway, there's a ton of music games.
Too many.
Yeah.
Karaoke Revolution's at the end of this month.
Oh, and what about that
Yeah.
Lips game on 360?
Lips that came out last month, too.
Yeah.
God.
Lots of music games. Now, so we just want to talk about, is the genre oversaturated and killing itself?
Yeah.
Yes.
The obvious answer is yes. Now, here's the question that I have about this thing is every once in a while you get, and there was also Rock Band Unplugged on the PSP.
Yes.
Now, every
God.
once in a while you get a different kind of take on the genre, even though technically you're doing the same thing with notes coming down the screen. Rock Band Unplugged was different enough to where, it was cool,
It was a lot of
especially if you're on the go. And then you have things like DJ Hero, which, not everybody loves it, but people like Ryan Clements do. And,
God.
what?
So good.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ryan likes DJ Hero.
Right.
Now the problem is that you have games like Lego Rock Band and Band Hero and all these other games which are the exact same thing, just with basically a different presentation and track list. Right? There's not really much else going on there, and so you're doing the exact same thing. You're picking up a plastic guitar, you're playing the notes that come down the screen, and you play the songs until you're tired of them, and then that's the end of the thing.
Yeah.
And in a lot of these cases, they, for me, Harmonix has done it well, where the Rock Band has become a platform. You can put any song, the Beatles excluded because that was its own thing. But Rock Band 1 and 2, you can put whatever songs you want on, and they all work. And it to a degree that also works with Lego Rock Band. So if you have songs that are supported by Lego Rock Band, and you've already purchased them for Rock Band, then you can still download them again. Not everything's support because they don't want to have Judas Priest playing for a family game. But but if you buy a song, it'll work. And Guitar Hero, they're starting to do that. But anyway, but the Harmonix guys and MTV Games and EA and all that kind of stuff seem to be, let's release one game a year, or 2 in the case of Lego Rock Band and the Beatles, and we'll have all the music work and the songs that we're selling will be our updates, as opposed to let's release 6 discs this year, or 6 games this year, which I think is what Activision did.
Yeah, it's totally shameless.
Yeah, I mean,
It really is.
to me, it seems like Harmonix and those guys are trying to, kind of slowly bring it out and, update it over a period of time, whereas Activision is the problem in having everything be, milked to death.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The fact that, Band Hero, it's as solid as ever. It's a Guitar Hero game for it, but it's so shamelessly Guitar Hero 5. Like, all it is, everything is exactly the same. They copied it, pasted it, and then put a pink sheen over it. You know what I mean? Like, the menus are exactly the same, and, like, all the modes are exactly the same. They didn't even bother to change, like, when you create a song, it's like GH Studio. It still says GH Studio on Band Hero. When you buy the kit...
Are you serious?
Yeah, when you buy the kit and you open it up, and you pick up your instruments that you just paid for in the Band Hero box, they all are branded Guitar Hero instruments. They all
That's
have that.
crazy, dude.
It's like you didn't even try. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is clearly you just pumping out another game. And that's fine. When we heard about Band Hero, everybody said, well, clearly this is Guitar Hero aimed at tweens and their
Right.
parents and stuff. But to be so blatantly like, meh, we don't really care about
You.
It's like, I can't believe. Why would you do that? Why? You know what I mean?
And I feel dirty that I supported them with DJ Hero money.
DJ Hero needed to be supported.
Well, that freestyle games and their idea need to be supported. Activision doesn't need that money.
Well, I would go that. Well, no, yeah, whatever. I don't know.
They have to prototype.
I want to make sure they keep I want to make sure Activision gets the money for DJ Hero to understand they need to keep doing stuff like DJ Hero. And
Right.
I want
the money should go to the right place.
I want them
Right.
branching out. Exactly.
Right. That's what I meant.
So it's all about being like more tasteful, then you would say. Because it's like like you said, Harmonix is
Right.
trying to be more tasteful, and Activision really is just doesn't really care, and they just release disc after disc after disc with
Right.
no importing of music anywhere. I totally agree with you. You're totally spot on, I think.
Yeah, for me, and then you look at things like Harmonix released the creation kit where you can put your own songs in there and do all, you have to run on the Xbox, whatever. But the fact that they're trying to build up the the community basically around the game as opposed to buying another piece of plastic from us. Be it the disc or another instrument or whatever the hell. I support that model wholeheartedly. My thing for when Rock Band 2 came out was, I played Rock Band 1 for a month or whatever it was, and then I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And then a year later, I said, great, Rock Band 2 is coming out. I love the fact that it supported Rock Band 1. I went and, bought a bunch of songs and had them ready, so when I put in Rock Band 2, I've got all this content already to go. And I played that for a week or two or whatever, and then got tired of it, but I got my money out of that as well. And, like, I like that formula. I revisit it once a year, play it, for a week or two, get kind of tired of it, and be like, all right, I'll revisit in a year again. In the case of all these games coming out,
they're always there, and you're never excited to play that next. Like
That's
Guitar
the
Hero
thing,
5, you're one of the biggest Guitar Hero Rock Band fans in the office, I would say.
Well, it has seriously diminished in the past 2 years.
True, but you're still indeed one of the best guitar players. And like you didn't even play Guitar Hero 5
No.
because it came out. There's so many of them now. It's like, well,
Yeah, 'cause I
why
don't
would I?
care
And,
anymore.
and like Brudvig was like, yeah, I'm surprised this is very good. Like this is really good. You know what I mean? But like
Right.
still, you say that it's really good, and you can't drum up the interest in the office of all of us who would come into the office on Friday nights to play these games. You know what I mean? We would have these parties, and now everybody's like,
The thing too, right now, I cannot tell you what was new about Guitar Hero 5. I could tell you any game that I don't actually play because I don't have interest in it, I don't have time for it or whatever. I can pretty much tell you what the game is about and what's new about it or whatever. I have no idea what was in Guitar Hero 5.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that there's so many games coming out that I don't know which game has which features. I don't know what's new. It's another music game that I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And so that excitement of, ooh, I haven't played a music game in a year.
Yeah.
Let me get excited for this and get my week or two enjoyment out of it, like I was saying, is completely lost because there's so many games that, the only one that I paid attention to even at all, even though I didn't actually play it, was the Beatles because Harmonix is trying to do something a little bit different with it.
Yeah.
And other than that, whatever, I don't care about any of it.
I hear you.
So,
Sad state of affairs, Colin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Is it ever going to get to the mainstream? When are they going to get sick of it?
I know
That's the thing. I think that's who they're trying to cater to. Still rather, but
Yeah, it seems, maybe I'm a little mistaken here, but it seems like the first month sales weren't all that great for the other games, for 5, and Beatles sold well, and then outsold Guitar Hero 5.
Yeah.
But, Guitar Hero 5 at least didn't sell as well as it, they were hoping it would. And I think at some point, Activision has to realize it's got to be quality over quantity. And I'm not saying that Guitar Hero 5 wasn't a great game.
Oh, no, I understand.
But, you've got to let things stand on their own so that people take notice of it. And I think that they're going to realize that at some point and say, okay, we need to do only Guitar Hero and then only DJ Hero if they want to keep doing that. and then have just those 2 games, separate them by 6 months, and support it with content for people that have those platforms and
I don't
want to
see
keep
that
buying
happening.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think Activision keeps their foot on the gas for as long as this ride can go.
I know, 100% that is going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
There's no doubt that will happen, but I don't
We can hope.
It's a shame though because it's diluting like what was really when Guitar Hero came out with many years, well not many years ago but several years ago.
It feels like it came out forever ago,
Yeah,
right?
2005.
I know.
Part
God,
one.
that just blew my mind when I was
was
writing the
so-
Band Hero thing, and I went back to get a year, and I was like, really? It seems like it's so long ago.
It's crazy because it was so revolutionary,
Yeah.
and now we're so freaking tired of it, you know,
Yeah.
and it's such a bummer, because they just they're like they have the exact opposite problem like Nintendo has. Where like Nintendo doesn't have enough quality games right now to release to keep people interested, and they have too many games, and people are like, "This is dumb."
Yeah.
So I hope they learn a lesson, and I wouldn't mind if they supported Guitar Hero 5 or whatever the latest iteration is or whatever.
So you don't even know, which is again the problem.
Yeah, and just release the music. Just release the music. Why do you have to be so greedy? You're still making money, and people are downloading these tracks. Release an album from this band and an album from this band, some classics and stuff, and make it playable.
Yeah.
On your game, and then stop. It must be cheaper for them too. They don't have to release the discs. I understand it's not a lot of money to print the discs and the box and stuff, but there's got to be like. Even if it was like
It's gonna cost some money.
Even if it was
Yeah.
like an Activision Green initiative or something to like not print these
Well,
discs
the thing
anymore.
is, the instruments, they make a lot of money on instrument sales. So anytime you can say, here's a new game in the store, and it comes with a new guitar, even though you already have 7 of them, and you're like, ooh, I want the new color, or whatever the hell it
Yeah.
is. Now they've made an extra $20 off you in profit from the
God,
guitar, or
so
whatever it is.
annoying.
How many of us? I mean, going to Clayman and Eric's place, for instance, there's just a corner in their living
Oh,
room
yeah.
of just
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of this crap. It's like, who needs all this stuff?
I only have my one turntable on a stand.
There you go.
That's all
No,
I
I
need.
Do you have 2 microphones?
No.
Oh, there, you failed. Back we just.
No, I would need another turntable and then a single microphone.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
2 turn. See, I failed. All right.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, I failed. Sorry, Beck. Anyway, unless anybody has anything else to add, we'll move on to some reader mail.
Reader mail.
First piece of mail comes from us from Pimpzor.
Nice.
Pimp sore.
Basically, he said he had an old 40 gig fatty PS3, and it died, and he's had it in a repair
really?
shop for 3 months now, and the guy finally called to say it was unfixable. Took him 3 months to figure this out.
Wow.
Should have taken 3 days. Anyway, so he's now going to buy a Slim. Good, keep your PS3 going. But he wants to know if there's any way you can copy all of the downloaded PSN games, or more importantly, his saves from the old system to the new one. Being that it doesn't turn on, it does not work. I'm assuming that it doesn't work at all. I
gonna be a problem.
don't think that you can. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
there's any
gonna
way
be a
around
problem.
Could you
it.
just transfer the hard drive?
No, because it will say that it's not the correct one. It's not serialized. It'll make you reformat it.
Format.
Now, the question, and this would be a giant pain to go through, but maybe you know somebody with a laptop that you could do it, is if you, here's what I don't know, is if you took the hard drive, because they're laptop drives, if you took it out of the PS3 and put it into a machine that had a space for it, if you could read the content that was on there and copy it to a USB stick correctly, could you get it off and have it work? I don't know. And the other question, too, is a lot of games have locked saves now. And when you do a backup of your system and then put it onto a new drive, it's fine. But in these cases, I think you're screwed. As far as PSN
Yeah, if
games,
it can't turn on, that's the big thing.
as far as PSN games go, that's easy. You just have to spend the time to do it. But just go to your your download list from the store, and you can do 7 or 8 downloads or whatever it is at a time now. So you can just queue a bunch up and then leave your system on overnight. Anyway, so your saves are screwed.
Hopefully you synced your trophies though.
That's the big
Oh.
one.
Before everything went down.
That's the thing. Genopolis writes in and he says, his
Scary,
question
man.
is, do you think the PSP will eventually get applications / minis like apps or maps or whatever that aren't games?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's a much different process. You figure Sony's
Did we ever get a GPS?
their giant estimate was to have 55 out by the end of the year, minis. So it's not like the App Store where it's completely open, where here's the code, go do whatever you want with it, and then send it to us and we approve it and put it up. You know what I mean?
Now here's the thing though, the question is somebody trying to make these things? Because if somebody turned around and said, I'm going to make an email client for the PSP and made it and got it, if Sony would approve it and you charged $2 or $3 for it, you could make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Right. Like the market would definitely be there for things that were done well, and you only do the iPhone thing, where it's only a couple bucks or whatever. the question is, would Sony approve it? And I don't know the answer.
I don't think they would. I think they look at minis as games. They want little bite-sized games you can jump into.
Right.
Because you figure if you put up an email client, where does that go on the PlayStation Store? Because right now you click on games, PSP games, minis.
Right.
Plus, they need to focus on like just getting more hardware out there and people more focused on actually playing games on PSP Go and stuff like that. Because no one's
The other thing too, for a lot of applications is for most of them you have to type something at some point. If it's not a game, you have to type something, and there is no keyboard that works correctly on the PSP. I mean, you can use the software thing, but that's terrible to type on.
Oh
so
my God, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be great for stuff, but if it was like, hey, I want a Twitter feed reader, you could totally do that, but it would 100% you could make it, but I don't know that Sony would approve it. So I wish that they would, because it would be kind of cool to have that on there. Combo Meal writes in and he says, how well do PS1 classics work on the PSP? He simply cannot picture being able to play Rainbow Six without 2 analog sticks and 4 shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
Metal Gear works really well.
It just depends on the game.
Final Fantasy works fine.
Yeah, I mean, any game that doesn't really require extensive use of the trigger buttons will work really well. When I used to do the Retro Roundup, they all ran perfectly fine on the PSP, and it just usually what would happen is that if a game used 4 triggers, it would have you map some of that functionality to the analog stick. So I mean, it didn't work. But if you don't need to use that, like if it's a Final Fantasy game, I mean, my roommate plays Final Fantasy 7 on his PSP every day, and it works perfectly. Just because you don't really need to use those triggers.
Right. So it's a game by game basis, and if a game required it and it wasn't going to work well with it, it probably would not be on there. But Sony's choosing which ones to put up.
If you download it and it doesn't work on your PSP, you can play it on your PS3.
There it is.
So yeah.
Naruvalo writes in, he says, he was wondering, before he pre-orders Little Big Planet PSP, if he buys it on the PSP Fat from the PSN store, can he somehow transfer that to a PSP Go? Or maybe download it again for free?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Download what, 5
Easy.
times still?
Yeah, 5 times
that's
is
an easy
the
answer.
list.
Yeah. Albert writes in, and he says... Okay, so he's basically saying that, Sony's lineup looks great through give or take about March or so, through about when Gran Turismo and God of War comes out. And before that, there's Heavy Rain, and there's all these other things. What happens after that, though?
Scary.
What's coming out? Jack Tretton's been saying there's
Last Guardian.
The whole
The Last Guardian.
Last Guardian's at some point. Nobody knows when.
2011.
You don't think next year? You think 2011?
I think it'll be next year, but who knows when? It could be in December or whatever.
Right.
Greg Miller says January 2011.
All right, there you go. There's Greg's prediction. But so there's lots of stuff that we don't know about that everybody's assuming is coming. Everybody assumes that there is a Twisted Metal on the way from Jaffe and Easily Play, which hopefully, if that were to happen, they would announce it at E3 or maybe even GDC, and it would come out in, say, September or October. So that would give you a good game for the end of the year. And then very likely, which actually somebody else wrote in and said, what was the likelihood of Resistance 3 coming out next year?
Oh, I wish.
Which is very likely. Although there's that movie that was supposed to come out in
but I was going to say that
but
movie
anyway,
suggests that it's not going to come out till Q1 or Q2 2011, right?
Yeah. Anyway, but so
What
that
movie was that again?
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. But so that's in the horizon somewhere. Basically, there's lots of stuff that's coming that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
I would hope that a new Wipeout game will be at some point.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
I don't know if it'll be within the next year. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that will be coming.
I still
we just don't know what
hypothesize
it
that
is
a new
yet.
Grand Theft Auto is going to come out next fall too, but no one seems to agree with that.
I think, let me say real fast, I think one thing is that there are a lot of big games that Sony already has coming, and you remember, and Final Fantasy is another big one, but there are a lot of games that are coming to the PS3 already that Sony's already having to talk about. There's God of War, there's Heavy Rain, there's Gran Turismo, there's stuff like Final Fantasy. All these games need their time in the limelight to get highlighted, and if Sony starts saying, hey, we've got all these other games coming out, then the stuff that's coming out in the next 6 months kind of gets drowned out.
Yeah.
People are looking too far ahead.
Yeah, they're in good shape right now. If they just wait till E3 and then they start dropping more game, like the Twisted Metal game or XYZ, then
XYZ is gonna be an awesome game.
XYZ, I can't wait for X.
Calling all cars too.
Calling all cars too. Resistance 3, obviously they'll probably have it E3 and stuff like that, so that'll be cool.
Yeah. John QT writes in. He says he has a question about the God of War collection. If he already has copies of 1 and 2 and I pre-ordered the collection, should I trade them in for credit to buy the collection? Is it worth it? Like I was saying, 1 and 2 are on the collection are awesome. I would, for me, I have 1 and 2 at home, the original releases, and I have a lot of games that especially with the collection in the case of God of War, but I have a lot of games that I will probably never play again, but that are classics. And like I have Gran Turismo 3 and 4 sitting there, which I'll probably never play again, but they are things I like to have on the shelf because they're cool. So in the case of God of War 1 and 2, for me, I love those games, so I would never trade them in.
How much would you
Plus,
get for a trade?
That's the thing, is they're probably worth about a quarter, 50 cents, or $1 or something at this point. It's not worth it.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, it's a cool trinket to have on your wall.
You could honestly make more money if you sold original version of God of War on eBay. Good condition.
Signed by Kratos.
People signed by Kratos. People will pay for stuff like that if it's a collector's item. It's hard to find those old PS2 games now.
The other question too is, do you have God of War 1 as the collector's or the Greatest Hits edition? Yeah, thank you. Or do you have the original packaging? Because if you have the original packaging without the Greatest Hits thing on there, I figured that'd be cooler to somebody else that wanted to put it on their shelf because you won't have the the red bar there. Anyway, I would keep it, but
people are too quick in selling their games too, man. I regret selling. When I was a kid and I bought my PlayStation by selling all my Super Nintendo games. That was the dumbest thing I ever did.
Dude, I did that too. That was the dumbest crap I've ever done in my life.
I sold Final Fantasy 2, I sold Final Fantasy 3, I sold Chrono Trigger, I sold all my for $10 a piece, ActRaiser, all those games. Don't think twice before you're selling your games. You're gonna regret it one day.
I agree.
Don't listen to Colin. You won't regret it. I don't regret it.
I made the mistake once of selling Eco.
Oh yeah.
I sold that game once, and about 2 years after I'd sold it, I found it at the Metron and bought it immediately. I don't think I've played it since I bought it again, but anyway, I realized my mistake and was like, I need to get this game again.
I once sold Spider-Man 2 on PS2 and then ended up rebuying that to play that more. So there you go.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Don't give that away.
Why would you do that?
Because I can't. The amount of games I want to play, I could not afford without trading stuff in.
It's okay to trade in some games. I'm just saying,
trade
first-party
everything in.
games
Don't
or
worry.
I don't know, man.
Burn your bridges. You're fine.
All right, fine.
Platinum everything. Trade it in.
Brian wrote in asking about the resistance question, which we already answered. But anyway, Hobez writes in, and he was basically saying that here's another God of War related thing: is what's better to play, the God of War collection, which he's already played 1 and 2 on the PS2, or Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Basically, he wants that action game going.
God of War.
Yeah,
More game in God of War for sure.
I'm not interested in Sigma 2 at all. Whatever, it didn't do it for me. They removed the blood on the PS3 or some of it anyway. Meh. God of War all the way.
Or wait for Bayonetta in January of next year.
Bayonetta, that's another game.
Ryan's high on that game. And then 2 more questions. Sleepophobic writes in, which I guess is different than Sleepaholic.
Very much.
Writes in, he says, everybody here in the room, I believe Colin, you as well, loves Super Stardust HD as well as he does.
Oh, yes.
And he was wondering what the deal with Dead Nation is.
Yeah.
Since that's their next game. Yeah.
That was one of my really super awesome revel in the industry moments when I got to meet the guys at Housemarque when they were at German Games Convention last year.
So
this year.
Dead Nation, what's it about?
Basically, it's a sort of top-down arcade shooter similar to Stardust in that it's like dual analog stick, except it's a zombie apocalypse scenario. But it looks very good for a downloadable game. Super Stardust was an awesome looking game. I thought it looks really good. The lighting is fantastic, and the action is really intense. So I think it will. I think I might still prefer Super Stardust, but because I prefer.
It's not done.
Yeah, I prefer. I prefer sci-fi stuff over zombies.
I see.
Even though I love zombies.
Let me ask you this: is there plenty of blood?
Oh God, yes.
I'm sold. All
yes.
right. Last piece of question comes from Kyle. Another God of War. We had a lot of God of War questions this week. I didn't just pick these out, but he wants to know, this is kind of an interesting one, is that he recently played through Uncharted 2, which that's a nice hat you guys.
Ryan gave it to me.
He recently played through Uncharted 2. Everybody that's seen the game in motion knows how unbelievable the animations are for that game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I'm not just talking about the cutscenes. I'm talking about the way that Nathan moves through the environment and the way that Naughty Dog did a fantastic job there. But when he was playing through the God of War 3 demo, he felt that Kratos was stiffer in movement, which is true. Now, and he basically wants to know, what's our take on that? And my thing was, and the reason that I included this question is that Uncharted 2 and God of War 3 are completely different games in the way that you're playing them. In Uncharted 2, it's meant to be take cover, climb the environment, and shoot things, right? So when you're climbing the environment, you don't have to ever move fast. You need to just kind of figure out where you're going to go, and then you're watching Drake move, and so you need the great animation. And when you're shooting stuff, there's no animation there. The gun's just being pointed, but you have absolute precise control when you're shooting. That's when it's important. In God of War 3, your movement and your attacks and everything have to be happening exactly as you press the controller. So if you are pressing to the right and you need to turn around and block the other way, it has to happen immediately or else it's going to feel off. So by that design, God of War has to feel slightly stiffer because you need to be able to do everything immediately, as opposed to trying to show weight and inertia and all that kind of stuff in the way that Kratos moves. You can't get away with that because it has to happen immediately.
Gotcha.
Granted, Santa Monica's doing a great job of showing some of that kind of stuff while still having it happen right away. But they're two completely different ways that the games are played, and each one is designed around that sort of gameplay element as well as it can be. So that's where the distinction is.
Well said, Chris Roper.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
Why does Gran Turismo look stiffer?
Because they're cars and they don't actually animate.
What about
Their
Transformers?
wheels.
Well,
They
yeah,
have
the
wheels
shocks
that
and stuff
spin.
move.
Yeah.
The shocks and stuff move, but I mean, the cars don't bend.
What about
If they did, you'd have very terrible handling. Anyway, so yeah, that's the end of Reader Mail. Wrapping up the show here because we're running out of time. We'll come back to everything else. I'll do housekeeping real fast. If you have not rated us on iTunes, go ahead and do that. You follow us on Twitter and IGN.com. You can follow me at Chris_Roper. Greg, you're on there now.
You can follow me at GameOverGreggy, Greggy. Game Over Greggy, all one word.
Ryan, are you on there yet?
No, I'm not on the Twitters,
You're
but
supposed to
I'm
be.
supposed to be, yeah.
You're going to be on there.
I will be soon.
Colin, are you on there?
Never.
All right. So Colin's on there.
You're supposed to be also.
Yeah, I know. IGN Guides is on there if you guys want updates. Also, I just wanted to pimp Dragon Age Origins, guys. Going to go up. We have a bunch of good stuff on
Cool.
on IGN Guides right now for you
Also, check out our official Facebook fan page.
There it is.
guys. Naturally.
It is
Oh,
updated.
everybody's
It
on
is
Facebook.
updated often, and we actually do put up some cool stuff there.
Yeah, we're all on Facebook, so you can get on there.
Yeah.
And us personally are on Facebook.
and
yes,
of course, Moriarty-IGN on PSN. Now the new rule is now going to be 10 days, or you're getting deleted.
If you've been inactive for 10
If
days.
you've been
you'll be
inactive for
deleted.
10 days,
Now,
you'll
are you
get
going to
deleted.
suspend this when stuff like Thanksgiving comes around and
No,
Christmas?
there's no excuses.
That is unacceptable.
All right, you know
what
what?
about kids who go home
No,
for
that's true.
college break or
Well,
whatever?
maybe Christmas. We'll have to do it for the holidays, the December holidays. Or whatever. Then
I think what we should do for there is January 15th. I think that's when you pick it back up. And if nobody's played in 10 days, then you knock them off.
Okay, that's a good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. So yeah, Moriarty-IGN. If you want to marvel at my trophy collection, feel free.
You're gaining on me.
I am.
It's about to happen. The eclipse is coming.
Yeah.
But then, as soon as we're out of
Total eclipse
November,
of the
I'll be
heart.
able to play games again that I want to play, not
Then
have to
we'll-
work, and then I'll be
then
able
we'll
to
compete once more.
Then it'll be on, like
Yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Right
you
on.
have drywall on your shoulder from rubbing other
You do.
wood.
Oh, man, there's a
from
giant hole there.
Oh,
I think
bummer,
you
bro.
rubbed these holes in.
Oh well.
Anyway, that's the end of the show.
Bummer, bruh. Sorry, bro.
Anything else anybody wants to add before
Yeah, we have a hit of the
before we
week.
get the song? Oh, yeah, hit of the week.
I went through some changes recently. I got a Wikipedia page, so I'm
That's
finally
big.
an official internet celebrity. But then on top of that, my friend Matthew Carr, who's not really my friend, he's a reader or listener like everybody else. But he's my, like I've said before,
Right,
these
right.
are my friends. Anyways, I don't know Matthew Carr, but now I know him. He made me an application for the iPhone and the iPod Touch, I believe they're called. You can now search Game Over Greggy, all one word, GGY. And
It's on the App Store.
Find my iPhone app, which will show you my blog in an iPhone readable format, where
Yeah.
you can view comments, view my posts, and give me thumbs up or see thumbs up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It
Everybody
doesn't. It doesn't do anything you can't do on the website.
True, but it's faster. It's way
Yeah.
faster.
It's
than
way
trying to
faster doing it
load
via the phone
IGN.
than
Yeah.
So,
And so, what is his PSN name?
His PSN is Southpaw UK1. Southpaw PAW UK number 1.
Oh wait.
All one word.
Speaking of Wikipedia too, I noticed that Podcast Beyond. I was telling Greg about this. Has a Wikipedia page. It hasn't been updated. I'm not on the special guests part of the Wikipedia page. Someone rectify it.
There you go.
do you want to
Also,
know?
PSN confirmed.
Do you want to know today's random fact?
Yeah.
I told you about the Guinness thing the other week. I think this is a pretty good too. Do you know why left-handed pitchers are called southpaws?
No.
So here's why. Baseball
Ooh,
stadiums.
this is fun. I always
this is a
wanted
good
to know
one.
this.
Baseball stadiums are built so that the pitcher to home plate, looking out the center field, are north and south.
Okay.
So that when the sun is setting or rising or whatever it is, you're not looking into the sun when you're batting. So the sun goes from basically first base to third base, right? When the pitcher is standing on the mound, and I forget which way it is. I forget if it's during the pitch or whatever it is. But basically, left-handed pitcher's left arm is faced, I think, towards the plate when they're standing there. So their throwing hand or whatever it is anyway faced towards the plate
Yeah.
and then that's why they're called southpaw. I forget that exact
I
part,
see.
but
I
basically
see.
it's
I see what you're
because
saying.
they're standing the op. So right-handers
I'm
are
a
technically
lefty.
northpaws.
I face first base when I pitch. So
Okay.
if I were to pitch, so it would face the outfield wall, which
Right.
would be
But anyway,
south.
so
Okay.
right-handers are basically north poles, I guess, in this situation. But that's why they're called southpaws,
Gotcha.
because they
Interesting.
are facing south in some fashion during this thing.
You don't hear that in baseball very much. You hear that in boxing usually. That's interesting.
There you go. Anyway, I would research this a little bit and get more details if I knew what I was going to tell you during the week. But anyway, so if you want to, yeah.
Where did
Anyway,
you
there's-
find that out?
I don't know. I used to be a giant baseball fan, so I read in some book. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Ryan, do you want to talk about the music this week?
I actually forgot to look it up, so I'll introduce it in just a second.
I'm sure it'll
There
be
we go.
awesome.
Beyond.
Oh, hey guys, it's Clements again. How's it going? So I wasn't really feeling any of the submissions that we got recently, and also we didn't get very many of them. So once again, I'd like to remind everyone that if you would like to have your music, it doesn't even have to be video game related. If you'd like to have your music featured on Podcast Beyond for the entire nation to hear, you should definitely send it in to beyond@ign.com. You can also send all your questions there to beyond@ign.com. So for now, you're not going to get any song because I don't have time. I got previews to write for you guys and stuff to do, and I am going to go and finish editing this podcast. But stay tuned for next week when we will hopefully have a song, and hopefully it will be one of yours. Beyond.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.